Hello everyone, it's Lauren. I'm back at Sheppey United FC doing another interview. So we are here with one of the new managers here. So for everyone watching, can you just introduce yourself and just like a baseline of what you do here?
Yes, I'm Eain Batten. I'm the joint manager, Sheppey United.
Okay, so unfortunately, last year, the great legend and manager, Eain Batten, did unfortunately pass away in March. But we now have his sons taking over the job and the manager's role. So you took over as the role in the beginning of February for Sheppey United, the first team. You gave up roles for the first side Sheppey Sports. How are you feeling about that change, and what was the process like for you?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of taking over at Sheppey United, it was always something that me and my brother would have loved to have done. Obviously, the unfortunate thing that happened to my dad, we'd liked it in different sort of circumstances, but we had the chance to take over, which we've done. It's been hard work. You're on the phone. It's another job. Dad used to say exactly the same thing. I think you ask any manager at this level, it's another job, and you drive people mad in your house because you're always on the phone, speaking to players, organising things. But in terms of obviously coming in, the first two games obviously haven't gone the way we've wanted, but it was always going to take time. So. It's all about the next game for us now, and obviously that comes on Tuesday against Sittingbourne, and what a great game to turn our fortunes around.
Quick side question: do you have a prediction for that game, as you mentioned it?
2-1 Sheppey. 2-1 Sheppey.
Okay, moving on. Sheppey United is known as a family club, not just from the fans, but also like the players themselves on the club. Would you say is this the reason why you have followed your dad's footsteps and just working with like the first team?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, my dad was a massive influence with Sheppey. So we've always had, that around us. I can't remember the last time, that we didn't speak about Sheppey United in our household. So it's a huge family thing for us. And it's a big community club. So it's great to see so many kids here now. I mean, my kids come and they absolutely love it. And you'll see, obviously, you notice yourself and everyone else that comes to the games that it's a great, safe environment for family and children to come and watch good football. I know I say to the lads, the fans always turn up in numbers. We average 300 or 400 here, so we want to try and give them value for money. And obviously, it was unfortunate today that didn't happen, but that is our motto: give the fans value for money.
And as we've had a game taking place today, how did you feel overall at that game? And who was someone that really stood out with you on Sheppey's team?
It's a tough one, obviously, because the result didn't go our way. It wasn't a bad performance. I know that, as I say, the result wasn't what we wanted. But we knocked it around, played some good stuff. Conceded to just a long ball, which Dill just kept pumping balls into our box. And if you don't deal with them. Eventually one might drop in. So I thought we played the football just possibly without the cutting edge today.
And being on the side of the pitch is a new, completely different experience from being on the pitch. Would you be tempted, as I've heard before that you've played, would you play again? And what was it like to play football in the past?
Yeah, funny enough, I've actually played one game this season for Sheppey Sports and scored one goal. So talking about cutting edge, I might have to bring myself on when we need a goal next time. But no, I mean it is totally different. Being watching it to playing it. There's only so much influence you can do as a manager. Obviously, you pick the team, you pick the formation. You tell them how you want them to play, and then when the referee blows a whistle, it's out of your control. You trust your players to then try and go through with what you've asked them to do. And sometimes you're pulling your hair out thinking, Christ, I'd love to be out there and just getting amongst it, but you learn to deal with that, and part of it, yeah.
So with this manager role, you have a lot of new plans, I expect, for just Sheppey United and also the players. Can you run us through some of like the main plans or ideas that you have to maybe even expand the club or just make it better for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, on the field, obviously, we need to start getting results. We're in a bad run of form, so we need to change that around. That's obviously our focus, our immediate focus. Get things right on the pitch. It's a great club off the pitch, as anyone that ever comes to the ground. If you hadn't been here for a season or two, you come in and think, wow, there's always something that's been improved, or off the pitch, it's in great hands. Steve Manning, Lee Allen, Kevin Long. I mean, I could go through a list of people, on the board and the chairman that work so hard behind the scenes, and they're not getting paid for it. It's a voluntary role, and we're lucky to have such a great club, not just on the pitch but off it as well. It's in great hands.
And finally, we're speaking from the club. I've done lucky enough to do quite a few interviews with some of the players and also some past roles here at Sheppey United. And there's one question I always love to ask, and that is, if you could describe Sheppey United FC in one word, what would it be and why?
A giant of non-league football, I would say. From where it's come from 10 years ago when the club had reformed to, a season or two ago being on telly, on ITV, is incredible. So a giant that the island should be proud of, and everyone should enjoy coming to the games, win or lose.